Hello and welcome to TIMS version 7 training. Today I will be showing you the introduction to TIMS main menu. There are no prerequisites for this training video with the exception that you should be on version 7 of TIMS. If you have any questions, please email our portal at portalsupport@cu.net. So today I will show you how to move around the TIMS main menu. I'll show you the differences between our live versus play environments, some of the main screen elements. I'll show you how to locate and launch applications. I'll touch on my favorites, startup configurations. I will show you the system messages, and lastly the proper logout procedure. So when you log into TIMS, you should see this background if you are logging into the play area. The play area and the live area do look different. The live area has a dark navy blue background. Play area is more of a dark greenish blue with the play 950 watermark. Generally the system number is 950 in the play area, and your live system number is going to be whichever branch you are tied to. The most important part is to check the background, make sure it doesn't say play. That way if you're planning on working in live, you definitely want to be in the live area. So let's go ahead and open up TIMS and I will show you our main menu. So within TIMS main menu, we've got in the top left corner our Computers Unlimited. This is PM702. This is my server and the system that I'm logged into. So this would likely say your company name. The system number down below is going to be tied to your username. Generally, it's tied to the branch. The site would actually be the 3-character code that Computers Unlimited has defined your company. So it's an identifier for your company when calling in support. To the left we have a system date and a system timestamp. If I go ahead and cruise over to the right hand side, I have a few drop downs up above. I have a tools drop down, help drop down, and lastly my logout option. I can see my username is TIMS Live. Your username would appear here as well. This logout option is the only proper way of logging out. I will show you how to do that towards the end of the video. Under the tools drop down, the only applications we're going to be focusing on is our configuration settings. Quick menu will be covered in a separate video, and also I will show you the zoom function. So first, quick configuration settings. Configuration settings are for setting up printers. First, which default printer would you like to print to? And this is usually when printing things from the spool file or other applications. We also have standard TIMS printers, where if you're printing a report, you can choose where that prints. See, if you're printing a picking ticket, you can choose where that prints. If I don't have the permission to change this printer, it'll say changeable no. If you do have the ability to change it, it'll say changeable yes. Then you click on it and change your printer. So the changeability is driven by the authorizations through our TIMS management console. Next, you can see that I have an item over here in my startup area. So if I log out of TIMS and log back in, Cache Summary would launch as soon as I log in. If you don't want Cache Summary or any of the other applications to launch when you log in, go ahead and click the delete, and you can see no startup applications are set. If I click on my arrow, it will take me back to my main menu. In order to add an application to startup, navigate to one of these applications, whether it's in your favorites or whether it's in the browse apps. Right click and say add to startup. You can see now it says it successfully added to startup. If I go back to my configuration settings, I can click on that and see it's in my startup. I can delete that if I want to. So that's it underneath the configuration settings. Quick menu will be covered more in detail in a separate video, but we can see that this is a nice pop-up menu. You can pop this up with Control M. Lastly, I have the zoom function. The zoom function is to increase or decrease the size of the icons and text whenever I'm in my main menu. It also works in certain applications like my inventory management. If I hold down Control and scroll with my mouse wheel, I can make these items smaller or larger. So this functionality only works within our newer Fusion-based applications. Things like inventory items, vendors, equipment. It doesn't work in all of our other applications like order entry, customers, or customer-centric. Next, what we have is the ability to search for applications. This is a smart search, so if I just type in order, I can see all the application with the word orders in it. If I search for entry, I can see all the applications with entry in it. If I type in, let's say I'm looking for order entry, if I just type in R space E, I can see that order entry pops up. If you type in the word of the application that you're searching for, let's say vendors, and there's no other application called vendors or that has the word vendors in the application name, I hit enter, it will open that application directly. If I just type in report and I use my arrow keys to tab down to the report and then hit enter, it will also launch that application for me as well. So I can certainly just search for an application. When I do search for an application, I can see that the file path of that application is in bold above the application name. So my customers app is in the accounts receivables module under the management folder. If I want to navigate to that using my browse apps, I click on browse apps, go to accounts receivable and management, and now I can see there's my customers application. To get back to the main menu, click on this arrow. It'll highlight blue once you're hovering over it, and I'm back to my main menu. Pretty quick and easy on searching for applications. Once you find an application that you like, right-click on it and add it to your favorites. That application will be added to your favorites in the first available slot. Once I have a bunch of applications in my favorite, if I right-click on them, I can say Organize Favorites. Or I can go ahead and just remove that item from my favorites, which I just did. So I'm going to add that back to my favorites. And let's add another item to my favorites. So now I can see I have quite a few applications in my favorites. Once I have them within this view over here, I can right click and say Organize Favorites, and now I can move these applications around. I can go by application type. You can see there's some sort of color coding here. My management applications are these dark green. Reports are usually the yellow pie chart. My management applications or processing applications are the grayish cube. Okay. If there's an application that you don't want in your favorites anymore, grab it and drag it over to this box. Any items left in the box will be deleted from your favorites when you hit Save Changes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save Changes. And now my favorites are clean and organized. You can only have 20 favorites at a time. Down below favorites, we have open applications. So these are applications that I have launched. Maybe I've just minimized them. Some of them are full screen applications. Some I can have open side by side. Let's say I want my inventory management and vendors open at the same time. If I click on vendors, grab the blue bar at the top, drag it, slide it over to the left, you can see it's taking up the left-hand side of my screen. If I hold down Alt and hit Tab while still holding Alt, I can tab through my open applications. So I'm going to tab to the inventory items, and now you can see they're side by side, so I can just toggle back and forth between them without having to minimize, maximize, and so on. Utilize the functionality of using your Alt tab. If I want to quickly jump over to the customers application, I can Alt tab until I see customers and release it. I can also jump over to, let's say, my report. So the Alt tab functionality is super useful. Makes it really easy to navigate. Also within open applications, if you are in the application, let's say order entry, this is a good example. If you have an order started for a customer, another customer walks in, this guy has to put you on hold, You can right-click on Order Entry up above in your favorites, right-click on it and say Launch Again. So now I have 2 sessions of order entry going at the same time. I could have 2 orders going at the same time for 2 different customers. If you're in the middle of an application, you want to take a screenshot of something. So I want to take a screenshot of, I don't know, maybe the prices or costs of this. I could right-click on this and say Capture Screen. Now that's going to take a screenshot of my order entry. And because the screenshot is within TIMS, it's in my document viewer, I can actually save it, email it, print it, fax it, do whatever else I need to with it. Alright, so I have my screenshot taken, I can email it off. I can also do a screenshot, a capture with desktop. What that gives me is my timestamp in the top left corner. You can see my order entry screen is right in the middle where it is. It works real well also for error messages. If you get an error message that pops up. If you right click on any of these items, you can just right click and hit close. That's the same as just hitting the X without actually having to launch the application. When I'm navigating around the main menu, I can move my arrow key using my arrow keys on my keyboard. I can tab to move this little cursor around. So if I like using the keyboard a lot, I can tab to the different areas of my main menu, use my arrows to drop down, and you can see my blue dot bounces around the main screen. Lastly, on my main menu, I have messages. On the right hand side here, I can see the messages, when they were updated, by whom. If I click on this, it's going to tell me my alert, when this alert was, when it was created. I can dismiss them, dismiss the check. So that way I can make sure that I'm seeing all of the alerts. I can go ahead and dismiss all and close. If you are a user that has the ability to edit messages, you right click and edit the main menu messages. We have 2 types of messages, a business unit and a system number. System number is generally the branch that you were tied to. Business unit is going to be company-wide message. So you can see I have 2 different types of messages. I can just put any sort of change into this and it will actually make a change. And once I make that change, I can see now my new alert. And it gives me a little pop-up in the bottom corner as well. When you're all ready to log out, there might be a few options to click on. You want to avoid hitting any X's when you're logging out because this may not log you out properly. The proper way to log out of TIMS is to click the log out button here. If you do not log out properly, it can hold a TIMS license, which could keep people from being able to log in. So this will tell me I have applications running. Do I want to continue and shut down all active processes? Say yes. It will try to shut down the active windows as it can. Looks like I have order entry that I need to do something with. It's trying to save it, but it won't save it without my permission. So I'm going to go back into this order. Looks like I'm in the middle of an order. So I need to figure out, do I need to file this order? Can I go ahead and just cancel the order and close it manually? If you go ahead and click log out and you have nothing left to process, it should close TIMS down for you just fine. So in conclusion, on this training we did cover the main menu components. I showed you the different live versus play environments and how they looked. We touched on the different elements of the main menu and how to navigate around the main menu. We showed you how to locate and launch applications, how to add items to your favorites, manage your favorites, add items to startups, different shortcuts including our quick menu and the Alt-Tab functionality shortcut. I showed you the system messages, and lastly, we touched on the proper logout procedure. So what's next? To continue your learning, please check out all of our other videos on the customer portal at www.support.cu.net. Thank you for making time to learn with us. If you have any questions or would like information on more training, please email our portal support@cu.net.